Hello everyone, welcome to the second lecture in this week, Introduction to Python. So, yeah, recall that in the earlier lecture we discussed about the print statements, the assignment operation. So, print statements had escape sequences, then assignment operations, and the two different data types, one is the integer and other is the floating point. Okay. And we also discussed about the format specifiers. So, one was %d which was for integers, %f. So, I will write it as maybe point n f, okay. So, maybe 0.3 f, 0.4 f, 0.7 f, whatever, and yeah. So, you also have percentage m dot n e, okay. So, maybe 1.3 e, 1.4 e, 1.5 e, whatever, okay. So, these were some of the format specifiers I had mentioned in the lecture, okay. So, I would like to caution that yeah. So, in case you are learning Python for the first time, it is a good idea to practice each of these commands yourself, okay. Just by looking at these commands you will learn nothing, okay. So, I mean, try to write the codes yourself in Google Colab, okay. So, to see if you are actually getting the codes right and you are getting the prints correctly, you are able to assign the numbers to the variables and so on, okay, fine. So, yeah, in this lecture we will start with arithmetic operations, okay. So, why do we actually assign numbers to variables, right? So, we assign them so as to I mean perform some arithmetic operations on them, right. So, you add two numbers, subtract two numbers, multiply two numbers, divide two numbers, or yeah, similar operations, right. So, we are going to see certain kinds of operations, okay. So, I will just do that in one go because it is quite simple. So, let me assign 4 and 5 to a and b, a is equal to 4 and b is equal to 5, okay. And how do I find the addition of these two numbers? I just write a plus b. How do I find the difference? A minus b. How do I find the product? It is a star b, okay. And how do I find the ratio? I write a slash b, okay. There is one more operation which yeah, you might not have expected in case you are new to coding. It is called integer division, okay. So, I will explain more, wait for a minute. And the other one is power, right. So, suppose I want to find a power b, 4 power 5. How do I do that? I write a double star b, okay. Some of you might be expecting the caret symbol, that is shift 6, right. So, that does not work in Python, okay. You have to write double star, a double star b means a power b, okay. And the other one is the remainder operation, the modulo operation, which is a percentage b, okay. So, let us see what you get for each of these operations. So, a plus b is 9, a minus b is minus 1, a into b is 20, and a by b is 0.8, and you can see that the integer division gives you 0, right. So, why is it 0? It is just I mean it finds the integer. So, if it is 0.8, it just removes the removes whatever comes after the decimal point, it just gives you 0, okay. And that is called as integer division, and integer division is performed by a double slash, okay. So, yeah, this is something yeah, some of you may not be very familiar, and a power b 4 power 5 is 2 power 10, which is 1024, and a percentage b is just 4. So, yeah, when you divide 4 by 5, the remainder is 4, right. So, yeah, these are the operations, the basic operations that you can do, plus, minus, star, slash, double star, and percentage. Okay. So, that is arithmetic operations in one go. Okay. All right. So, yeah, I will just write it as yeah, plus, minus, star, slash, double star, and percentage. Okay. So, these are the basic arithmetic operations. Yeah, if you go deeper, you might find a few more, but I mean that is not required for now. Okay. All right. So, fine, yeah, but these are I mean operations where I mean you have a very few, yeah, you just add two numbers, subtract two numbers, and so on, right. So, that is not what we use computational algorithms for, right. So, we want to have, let us say, many numbers that you have, you have to add them, you can, I mean you want to perform operations on many variables, right. So, for instance, take this example. So, let us say you have scored certain marks in 5 subjects, and you want to find the total, you want to find the average, and all that. Okay. So, let us say the marks M1, M2, M3, M4, and M5 are given by, I am just throwing in some numbers, 72, 48, 63, 86, and 91. Okay. Let us say I want to find the average. Okay. So, let us do this. Average equals, what is it? It is M1 plus M2 plus M3 plus M4 plus M5 by 5, right. So, that is basically the operation that you are going to do. You want to add all these numbers and divide by 5, right. So, let us see. So, yeah, you want to find the average. So, what you have to do is just add these 5 numbers M1, M2, M3, M4, M5 and divide them by 5, right. So, let us see what you get. You get an average of 72. Oh, that is good, because yeah, it is exactly equal to the first mark that I wrote. Anyway, that is just a coincidence, fine. So, this is yeah, something very simple, right. But rather than doing it this way, okay, you want to I mean put them, let us say, in a form of a vector and process the vector rather than, I mean, processing each of the elements separately, right. So, yeah, whatever we have been doing until now is what we call as the scalar operation, okay. And what we are going to do now is yeah, mathematically you can say as vector operations, but or matrix operations, but as far as coding is concerned, we say as array operations, okay. So, yeah, for array we actually write that down. So, this is called as the array operations, okay. So, for array operations we actually import a library called as NumPy. NumPy stands for numerical Python, okay. So, yeah, a library called NumPy, which stands for numerical Python, NumPy, okay. So, whenever you are declaring an array or a matrix or something more complicated than that, it is actually a good idea to start using, I mean start with NumPy, because I mean you can do it without NumPy, but I mean that is very hard. I mean, so that is actually called as list operations in Python. I mean you can learn it if you are interested. Yeah, but I mean that is not a good idea, let me tell you that. So, I mean I am not going to discuss about that, I am going to go over array operations. Okay. So, how do I use this library? I am going to just import this and name it as NP. Okay. You can name it as anything if you want. Okay. So, but instead of writing NumPy again and again, we want to write something very small. So, I have chosen the name NP. Okay. Yeah, you can see this in many of the tutorials that you can find in the internet. Okay. So, yeah, so let us say you import this library NumPy. Okay. Now, how do you assign an array to a variable? Okay. So, let us say m or let us say v for example. So, v is a vector, right. So, that is something we understand very well. So, I am going to write it this way: NumPy array and whatever you want to write, let us say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay. So, yeah, this is a 10 length vector, or yeah the size of this array is actually 10. Okay. So, thus the assignment operation is over. So, we saw assignment of a scalar in the last class, right. So, you write a equal to 4, b equal to 5 and all that. Okay. So, in a similar way I have assigned an array to a variable here, where you write v equals np dot array, that is NumPy array of yeah whatever the values that you want to assign. Okay. Fine. But as far as array is concerned, we are not content with arithmetic operations alone, sorry assignment operations alone. Arithmetic operations will come a little later. So, we want to access certain elements of the array, right. So, for example, suppose I want to access the fifth element of the particular array. Okay. So, how do I access that? Okay. So, one might be tempted to write it as print v of 5, right. So, note that you have to write it in square brackets. Okay. So, let us see what is v of 5. So, I mean you would have expected v of 5 to be 5, but it says 6, right. So, the reason is the counting of Python actually starts from 0. Okay. So, that means v of 0 is 1, v of 1 is 2, v of 2 is 3 dot dot dot, v of 8 is 9 and v of 9 is 10. Okay. So, let me explain it here. So, suppose you allocate this. So, v NumPy array of 1 2 dot 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 10. Okay. So, the access is as follows: v of 0 equals 1, v of 1 equals 2 dot dot dot, v of 9 equals 10. Okay. So, v of 5 clearly is 6 and that is what it has printed. Okay. Fine. So, that is when you want to access yeah a particular element. Okay. So, I will write it as accessing an element. Okay. So, yeah this is something you need to learn as well. So, this hash is used for commenting. Okay. So, suppose you want to write something that the computer should not read, I mean it is for your understanding. Okay. So, you can put up a hash and then write it. Suppose you want to I mean disable certain lines, you can do that as well. Okay. We will be using this repeatedly as we go along. Okay. And there is I mean another way of doing this. So, this is I mean you have to use this every line. I mean, so suppose you want to disable 5 lines. So, you have to put this in front of each of those lines. Another way of doing it is you write 3 apostrophes, single apostrophes, and wherever you want to end it. So, since I have started here and ended here, so anything in between is commented out. Okay. So, that is another thing that could be useful to you. Okay. So, yeah, you access an element using this way, v of the particular number. Okay. Now, what if you want to access a range of values? Suppose I want to start from the second element and then access until the 7th element, for example. Okay. So, yeah, I might be I can write it like this. Okay. So, let me explain this. So, or rather let us actually see what happens and then explain what occurs. Okay. So, what happens here is you start from v of 2, v of 2, recall that it is 3, v of 2 is not 2, but v of 2 is 3. Okay. So, this is v of 2, v of 3, v of 4, v of 5, v of 6, and v of 7 is 8, but v of 7 has not been printed. It only prints v of 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, right. Why is that so? I have written 2 is to 7, right. So, this is another thing that you have to keep in mind. Whatever is there at the end, the number at the end will not be considered. Okay. So, if you write 2 is to 7, that means it stops before 7, 7 is not counted. Okay. So, you should keep this in mind, and this is accessing a range of numbers. Okay. Fine. Now, all right. Now, what do you do if you want to access the last element? So, here it is the size is 10, that is very clear. Okay. But suppose there is a very large array. Okay. Let us say it has 729 elements. Okay. You do not want to count saying that okay, this is the first element, second element, and count until 729 and say write print v of 729. Right. That is not that is a very bad idea. So, there is a shortcut for that as well. So, you just write v of minus 1, okay, and v of minus 1 means it is 1 from the right. Okay. So, 0, 1, 2 is from the left, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 is from the right. Okay. So, you can also for example write print v of minus 4. Okay. So, minus 1 is 10, minus 2 is 9, minus 3 is 8, and v of minus 4 is 7. Okay. So, it will print 7. Okay. So, that is accessing from the right, let me call it that way, access from the right. Okay. All right. And fine. So, what do you do if you want to access in steps? So, this accesses a range, all right, but it accesses continuously, right. What if you want to let us say start with 2, then go to 4, then 6, then 8 and so on. Okay. There is a way out for that as well. You can do the following, write 2 is to 7 is to 2. Okay. So, what it means is start from 2, go until 7, but in steps of 2. Okay. So, this is access in steps. So, you can see that v of 2 is 3, v of 4 is 5 and v of 6 is 7, okay, and it stops before 7. Okay. So, even if you write v 2 is to 8 is to 2, the answer will be the same because it does not consider 8, it stops before 8. So, it only considers V of 2, V of 4, V of 6, V of 8 is not considered. Okay. You should keep this in mind as well. Okay. In a similar way, I can access in step from the right as well. As an example, I will give minus 2 is to minus 8 is to minus 2. Okay. So, what this means is start from minus 2, go until minus 8 and go in steps of minus 2. Okay. So, you will get V of minus 2, V of minus 4, V of minus 6, of course, you will not get V of minus 8 because it stops before that. Okay. So, V of minus 2 is 9, V of minus 4 is 7 and V of minus 6 is 5, V of minus 8 is not printed. Okay. So, that is possible as well. Now, what do you want? So, yeah, suppose you want to access from a particular number onwards until the end. Okay. So, suppose you want to access from V of 4 until the end. Okay. So, you can do the following: V of 4, you just leave it, that means it is until the end. Okay. So, access until the end. So, V of 4 is 5, it prints all numbers from 5 onwards. And similarly, if you want to start from the beginning and go until a certain point. Okay. So, you can do that as well, it is V of colon and you just write a number, let us say 5. So, this is access from the start. Okay. So, yeah, you can see that V of 0, V of 1, V of 2, V of 3 and V of 4 alone, 5 is not counted. Okay. So, and I will end with a nice note. Suppose you want to print the array in reverse. Okay. There is a very nice way of doing it, you just write it this way. Okay. So, this is access in reverse. Okay. So, I will explain what this means. It means that you start where the start and end are as usual, but you must access in steps of minus 1. Okay. So, it goes from the last and ends at the beginning. Okay. So, you can see the print which is 10 9 8 7 6 5 4 3 2 1. Okay. So, all these operations are actually called as slicing of an array. Okay. So, yeah, so these are many options that Python gives you and it is good to have them handy. Okay. And okay, so we will do this for okay. So, all of this is yeah, whatever I did is slicing of a one dimensional array, a slicing of a vector if you want to understand it mathematically. So, how do I do it for a 2 dimensional array or a matrix? Okay. So, first I would like to assign a value, assign a matrix to a particular variable. So, let me do that as follows. Okay. So, if you want to understand what is going on, you can see that maybe a better way is to write it this way. Yeah. So, this is more readable. So, you can see that, so when it is a 2 dimensional array, it means you have an array of arrays, right. So, yeah, so I have written the matrix 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay. So, 1 2 here 1 2 3 is a 1 dimensional array, 4 5 6 is another 1 dimensional array and 7 8 9 is another 1 dimensional array. Okay. So, each of that has been represented using a bracket. Okay. And each of these arrays together is represented by is covered using another set of brackets, right. So, yeah, that is how you assign a particular matrix, that is 2 dimensional array, to a variable m. I mean I am using for matrix. Okay. So, yeah, you can just print m to see how it looks like. Yeah. So, yeah, this is more clear. You can see that yeah, 1 2 3 is one dimensional array, 4 5 6 is another, 7 8 9 is another. So, all these 3 arrays together yeah, gives a 2 dimensional array, right. Okay. And how do you access a particular variable in this 2 dimensional array or a matrix? That is very simple. So, suppose I write this, okay. That means you are taking the first row and the second column. Note that the numbering starts from 0. Okay. So, that means this is the 0th row, this is the first row, and this is the second row, right. And similarly, this is, I mean 147 is the 0th column, 256 is 258 is the first column, and 369 is the second column. So, if you are accessing m of 1 comma 2, it is first row and second column, so that is 6. Okay. So, you can see this. So, yeah, this is I mean you are accessing the first row and the second column. So, that has given you 6. Okay. Fine. So, this is to access a particular element. You can access a range, you can access in steps, you can access until the end, you can access from the start, everything is possible. I will just give you a few examples. You can continue from whatever I did for the one dimensional array. So, as a first example, so let us take this. Okay. So, what I am doing is I am starting from 0 and I am going until 3 in steps of 2. So, you have only 0 and 2. So, here I am going in steps of 1. So, it is 1 2, the last one will not be counted. So, I am accessing the 0th row and the second row, the first column and the second column. Okay. So, I will get 2 3 8 9. Yeah, you can see that yeah, it has got 2 3 8 9. Okay. And in a similar way, I will give you an example of a reverse access. So, yeah, I start from the beginning and let us say I go until minus 3 in steps of minus 1. Okay. And in the column, suppose I want to access all columns. Okay. So, yeah, so when I want to access all columns, I just put a colon. Okay. So, yeah, you can see that I have accessed the last column and the last before column, that is minus 1, sorry, last row and the last before row, minus 1 and minus 2 in the reverse. So, last column last row is 7 8 9 and last before is 4 5 6. Okay. So, yeah, that is evident from what I have written here. Okay. And also I can access all possible rows and all possible columns, but in reverse. So, I just write this for example. Okay. So, each row will be reversed. So, instead of 1 2 3 you are having 3 2 1, and instead of 4 5 6 you are having 6 5 4, instead of 7 8 9 you are having 9 8 7. Okay. So, you can do all of these slicing operations for a 2 dimensional array as well. Okay. So, fine, we will continue array operations in the next lecture. Thank you.